Hello and welcome to the first segment of Diversity and Inclusion's Fireside Conversations. So today I'm so excited to have this conversation, this discussion with Tiffany here at the college, Tiffany Porter Shabazz. We all know her. And Tiffany, do you want to just introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So, hi everyone. I'm Tiffany Porter Shabazz. I'm the advancement officer here at the college, and also colleague with Anita, Frazier, and happy to be here.
Thank you. Let's keep it real. She's my boss, you guys. So, Tiffany, thank you so much for agreeing to sit with me and just begin the discussions about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And with so much going on in the world, I just right now want to kind of have our conversation be a little more personal, but yet have a message that we may be able to give faculty, students, and staff, something they can take away from our discussion today. So if you're ready, we're just going to jump right in.
I'm ready.
Okay. So the title of this segment is Living in Your Skin. So every question that I ask will be centered around living in your skin. So living in your skin, do you find yourself being judged by others who look like you? And if so, what advice could you give to help others, like a supportive message? So do you ever find yourself being judged by people who look like you?
Okay, so she's starting out heavy. So here we go. So yes, I would say that in my lifetime, in my life experience, I have had times where I do feel like I've been judged by people who look like me. And I think I'll give maybe one example to start off that's very personal. I think within my family that I have individuals who maybe have had a different experience than me as it relates to growing up, just because we grew up in different times. So for example, I was born in the 70s and grew up in the 70s and the 80s, as opposed to someone in my family who was born in the maybe 50s or 60s. And so they did have a very much different experience to me as it relates to, I would say, growing up being black, right? And so my path when I was younger, my mom worked for the Ohio Civil Rights Commission and the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. And so I actually lived the experience of understanding what it could be like to be discriminated against because of my color, because of being maybe a female. And my mother also encouraged me to go to school. That was one thing that I knew after graduating from Cincinnati Public Schools, that there was an expectation for me to go on and get my undergraduate degree and what have you. And that looked a little bit different than my siblings who were older than me. And so I did feel like at a point in time, as I transitioned from going to undergraduate school and graduate school and starting to move into the professional world, and we would have conversations about what sometimes we call code switching. And so how I might talk in a professional environment sounds a lot different than how I talk with, my friends and family who are black. And sometimes that was perceived as, why are you trying to be white? And I would say, I'm not trying to be white. This is just who I am, and part of how we navigate through in the professions that we're in. And it's really important, to come across in a way with other people and to just be confident, to be professional. And it's not to say that if I choose to talk differently with my family that I am not true to who I am. It's just part of being a professional, and being in an educational setting where it's just how it is. So it's kind of heavy. I also would say that what I've learned in my lifetime is that some of that judgment or bias that comes from people who look like us is also part of our history. And it goes back, to 400 years ago when we unfortunately were raised during slavery to kind of have a divide between one another, and that's like a whole nother conversation. But
I was gonna say, you're going deep with it now.
I am, but I think that those are the important things to understand when we're faced in those situations where we do feel like there might be some bias or judgment. And what I would say, the learning opportunity just starts with a conversation, and it might not be the most comfortable conversation. It's this willingness to kind of see things from opposing sides and just learning from there.
Oh, wow. That's a great wrap up, because that would be my advice, is to just get to know the individual, have that conversation, no matter what their outer skin looks like, because it gives you an opportunity to get to know someone, and 9 times out of 10, maybe what you're thinking isn't necessarily true. And I don't know about you, but I've had people judge me like that who then come back around and say, now that I've gotten to know you, you're just not what I thought you were, And so it's just, I usually tell people, just take the time to get to know me. And that's what I would say to our students, especially. Take the time to get to know each other, talk to each other, and build a relationship.
Yeah, those are great points to close out that particular question.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking me.
My pleasure. I have more.
Oh, great.
So, living in your skin, personally, what are some of your concerns? What are some of the concerns that you have in today's environment?
Yeah, I would say in today's environment, the things that are top of mind for me as it relates to this topic and would be, again, that there seems to be division and part of my profession is all about human experience and understanding one another, their attitudes, their beliefs, their emotions and reactions. And I think in today's climate with, if you think about almost for the last 6 or 7 months, we've been quarantined because of the health pandemic, COVID. I think in addition to that, some of the things that we're experiencing around trying to figure out how to be anti-racist and movements towards social justice, that we're somewhat limited in just what we were just talking about and having conversations. And I think if we stay in a place where we allow ourselves not to talk to one another and get to know one another, that is going to create more division versus inclusion. And so it's top of mind for me, and it's top of mind when I come to work. It's top of mind when I'm at home, when I'm grocery shopping. It's top of mind as far as life is concerned.
Yeah, you talk about division. That is a really big one right now, because I think in my lifetime I have never seen so much division or hear so much division, and it's so sad because I wish I could just wave our the school's core values in front of everyone, where it talks about caring, and just say, hey, every human being, we're all human beings, period. We're all human. And to see the division based off of, be it political matters or race or what you're wearing, that's really discouraging. And I think that to just keep the focus, I love our core values, the school's core values, and what it talks about. And I think if we could all just learn that, it would help in so many different ways.
That's such a great point. Like if we just focused on caring, and the value of caring, and kind of interweave that into some of the, most pressing challenges that we have today, whether it's COVID, or it's racial injustice, or we think about how COVID has impacted unemployment, or it's impacted education. And so, like, if I just think about right now, our students, or students who are like in K through 12, whether here in Cincinnati or across the nation, they're being impacted by the way that they have been used to learning, right? And so that opportunity to even think about the value of caring with our students and the instructors and like like that whole community that's required now to pivot to continue to deliver on foundational education and making sure that students are successful. So I thank you. I appreciate that you bring up that vantage point.
Oh yeah, it's really important to me, and thank you for your words. That's great. Some great points. So let's keep moving. Living in your skin, how have your family and friends been impacted about, or how has what's going on in the world, the environment, how has that impacted your family?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'll respond to that from a more personal. So I am a mother. I am a wife. I am concerned about today. I have a greater concern about our lives, right? And so I have 2 young sons. One is 16 and the other one is 20. I have a husband, and then even for myself and my daughters, like just concerned about well-being and safety. And I'll say that I have that concern about their lives, but I have a concern about your life and my coworkers who look like us but don't look like us physically, because I just think again there's so much going on right now in terms of the division and violence. I'll just say that, being honest and transparent. And so we have a lot of conversations in our household. I am proud of my 21-year-old who she is at Kent State. I think that just things that have transpired in the last 4 to 5 months, she has become more aware of just the challenges that we have in our society, and she's having a lot of conversations with her friends. She's an athlete, so a lot of dialogue about what they can do to take action, right, to create change. So that's
great.
Feels good.
People really try and put a negative note on our younger generation, but some of them are so in tune and so on point about wanting to step up to not only make a difference but to educate as well. And I just have to just pat some of them on the back. And I have siblings. I'm an aunt, and even though I have law enforcement in my family and very proud of them and love them, I still have those worries. And even personally, because the other day I was on my way home and I got really nervous. I saw a police officer and I passed him. I was doing the speed limit when he was in another lane just going, and then all of a sudden pulls behind me. I got worried and concerned, and that shouldn't happen. And I just told myself, like, I'm not doing anything wrong. I need to panic, just be you. And so it's a daily conversation. It's a daily worry. I hate to say it, but it is. And it's real. So I appreciate you sharing with us, and the fact that others are in your family are taking that step and that opportunity to help others learn.
Yeah, and the last thing I would say is bringing it home to, relative to the college. I think just equally proud of our faculty and our students and our advisors who kind of serve in different capacities, but really wanting to think about different ways to spark conversation and create action that allows us all to be more emotionally intelligent and culturally competent. So
Yeah, I agree. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
You ready to move for the next one?
Absolutely.
All right, so living in your skin, do you find yourself being overwhelmed with the events in
Yes.
today's environment? And you answered yes. So what do you do to escape?
A couple things I do. So I don't have like a timer that goes off, but I have really become even more self-aware about moments when I might have anxiety or feeling overwhelmed, or even being proactive about it. So I do a lot of deep breaths. We actually told you I was going to do that just before we started recording. So something as simple as 3 deep breaths, at any given time during the day, really helps to center me, and it's important, like, for me to be present as well. So I could even imagine myself, when you were in that situation yesterday in your car. How do I handle that? Well, I'm gonna stop and take, just some really deep cleansing breaths to help me get back to being centered and being grounded, and to remove some of the anxiety. Walking has been great. So I try to do that at least once a day. And sleep is good. Sometimes I do really good with, sleep. Other times I don't.
I can relate to
And
that.
then just conversation, right? It's been helpful.
Yeah, so
How about you?
for me, my escape is, believe it or not, working puzzles. I love to work puzzles. And it's an opportunity for me to just figure it out. Well, and then that helps me to forget about some of the things going on, or things, even sometimes things I need to be doing. But that's my escape.
I love that.
I, am somewhat limited. I love getting out to walk, but I'm somewhat limited because of, some things I have going on. But I love that. That's my escape in getting away from things.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
It's a great opportunity to give advice to some of our faculty and staff and students, because as you mentioned, with COVID, we're in a little bit more now. We're not able to have that social time here at school or at work, over lunch even, dinner, meeting for dinner. So giving them some advice of taking that time to find whatever it is that makes you happy, gives you a moment to escape. If it's just the deep breath that Tiffany spoke about, if it's getting out, taking a brisk walk around the block, or even if it is, like me, working a puzzle, find something that's going to give you relief. Calling a friend, chit-chatting, you spoke about that.
Yep.
Having conversation. It's so important.
I heard people enjoy cooking. They picked up cooking. There's all kind of, options. So I guess there's no one right thing to do.
But just making sure you take care of your mental health as well as physical health. So in closing, any advice or any final thoughts you have that you would like to offer?
Yeah, I think that what I'm most hopeful for and optimistic about and motivated by is that there are all kind of opportunities for us to be change agents and to do that in an authentic way. And I think that I find there are more and more allies that look like you and I, but actually don't look like you and I, and come from different experiences. And
I agree.
that is just really exciting. I think that we're still there are challenges. There are times where things are uncomfortable, but I've also accepted that it's okay. It's okay. And I would just say, you know, you and I have an opportunity to even work more together. Even in this week, we've had conversations where you've been just so helpful in getting me to have another way of looking at things and viewing things, and even helping me to manage, you know, the reality of sometimes feeling a little overwhelmed or having anxiety, and you kind of having Anita, what would I call them? Anita,
I'm almost afraid.
yeah, no, Anita moments or Anita advice. I'll have to come up with some new like coin phrase or whatever. But
thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for just being a great colleague and partner and friend.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity. I tell you, this is what it's going to take, I think, for healing and repairing. I really do. And I think if we could have more positive conversations and opportunity, and I mean even broader than the Christ College, I think that's what's going to help get us back on the road.
To reconciliation.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good way to put it.
Yeah.
So that about does it today for our discussion, and I really want to thank you, Tiffany, for joining in with me and having this discussion on living in your skin. That about does it for today's episode. Stay tuned, because before you know it, I'll be knocking on your door or sending you an email asking you to join me for a discussion. And I hope that something we said today will inspire you or keep the conversation moving about how we all can be better. And I look forward to seeing you guys the next time. Thanks so much. Have a great day.